Hey everyone, today we're ranking all of the killer trailers for Dead by Daylight. I'm not going to play the full trailers here as many of them contain copyrighted music and such, but I will drop a link down in the description for a playlist where you can watch them all. 4 tiers: average, good, great, and amazing trailers. Let's get into it. Okay, so average trailers. Starting off with the Wraith trailer. The Wraith trailer is quite a boring one, with Wraith just running around Autohaven Wreckers, cloaking now and then. There's not too much to say about this trailer. It's from the very early days and more or less just different shots of the gameplay. To follow this up, we have Chapter 1 The Last Breath, or the Nurses trailer. This in a similar fashion is just a very simplistic show of gameplay. It has some decent edits here and there, but it's basically just Nia getting chased around Crotus Pren by the nurse. So kinda but hey, this was the early days. Next up we have Chapter 3 of Flesh and Mud, or the Hags trailer. Despite this one being incredibly short and not displaying any gameplay even, it's a much more interesting way to do a trailer in my opinion, and tries to keep the character more of a secret, focusing just on the creepy visuals and sounds of the Hag, before she finally turns around. Short, but more effective than gameplay I think. The Hillbilly trailer, despite being in a similar style to Wraiths and Nurses trailer, focusing mainly on gameplay, feels much more immersed and creepy. It utilizes the corn and cold wind well, with the hillbilly moving through it quickly. We never quite get a good look at him until the very end when he revs his chainsaw and sprints. This, out of the gameplay ones, I think is quite well done. Finally, for this tier we have Chapter 22, A Portrait of a Murder, or the Artist trailer. This is a decent trailer, but it is quite a step back I would argue, in comparison to many of the more cinematic and atmospheric trailers we've almost expected to see at this point. It's a cool reveal, showing off the environment of the new map and the creepy features of the artist, but it feels quite similar to the trailers we saw at the very start of the game. The title is very cool though, with the ink falling down and spelling out the chapter title, so there's that at least. Also, when she leaps up and jumps on Jonah, it's quite a nice visual too, although this is just the Mori I believe. On to good trailers. To start this off we have Chapter 6, A Nightmare on Elm Street. This one is relatively boring in my opinion, and does the bare minimum in terms of showing off the character. We don't really get anything fun or interesting happening here, nothing overly visually impressive or engaging. We do get a good look at Freddy though, and get to see a key feature in his weapon, which is nice. For a license, it felt like this one especially needed to be a bit flashier, as honestly, Freddy is a very large name in horror. Despite all these drawbacks, I still think this one is just above all those mostly gameplay trailers though, and is a decent look at the character. To follow this up, we have Paragraph 2, Leatherface. Leatherface's isn't that great, but at the very least it is quite stylized, and for that I think it's quite cool. It's one of a kind. It has this creepy crackle in the background as these different titles pop up, showing a variety of masks. Then we're asked what his mask is made of, the big reveal being the U that pops up as we hear a chainsaw. Very stylized, but relatively effective I feel. Chapter 4, Spark of Madness, or the Doctor's trailer, seems to be set within the realm but isn't direct gameplay. We begin with Feng on a generator, which looks to be in the center of Larry's. We see a close-up of her back and her Laser Bears logo, giving us a clue to who she is. As she turns, we can hear the labored breathing of the Doctor approaching before he jumps out, with the focus moving to his creepy face. I don't like too much when horror focuses on jump scares, but I think in this case it was built up fairly well, considering it's only a 30-second or so trailer. Also, jump scares are kind of Doctor's thing, so it works out here I think. Chapter 5, A Lullaby for the Dark, takes a fairly simplistic approach, opting to set up the Huntress initially through certain items like her territory, her mask, her hatchets, and then the lullaby that she hums. These elements are really great. We then see her place on the mask and turn to face us, a hatchet raising. It's almost set up like we've entered into the Red Forest ourselves and she spotted us. Pretty cool, and I like the slow introduction of the character, focusing on the key visual aspects first. Because a lot like in gameplay, you hear the Huntress before you actually see her. Chapter 11, Demise of the Faithful, has a similar character introduction to Huntress. It's very solemn and quiet as we begin looking at the plague sensor, moving up her body as we hear a low chant, with lots of candles billowing in the background. The chant is broken by a cough, and we fade into Plague looking at herself, sliding a hand down to reveal her plagued face. Her cry, then darts off as someone presumably approaches. I personally really like the simplicity of this one, focusing on the key elements of Plague, like the chants, the censor, and to two sides. It's quiet and reflective, and I like it honestly. I prefer this one just a bit over Huntress's. I feel this one has a bit more of a cinematic quality. Moving on, we have Chapter 9, Shattered Bloodline. This trailer has a really good atmosphere to it, but I kinda wish it was a little longer, and was maybe set in a slightly more distinct location. We have Adam moving around, investigating a room in low light with only a lighter. He drops it, and upon pickup, the spirit begins to appear behind him. The first thing we see being her wild hair, and the first thing we hear being the spooky static sound. Very cool and good use of lighting for her slow reveal, and the idea of her appearing out of nowhere, like in gameplay again. Chapter 13, Stranger Things, was a lot of hype at the time, but the trailer itself is quite simplistic. We open looking through the Hawkins lab hallways until we reach a particularly wrecked looking one, where Demo crawls out and screeches. We then see both Nancy and Steve on the security cameras, calling for help. I like how they did this, and both of these mini reveals were very exciting at the time, and the trailer, although short, is very good looking and atmospheric, and we do get a good look at the characters too. In comparison to many others though, it is on the simpler side. Chapter 18, A Binding of Kin, has a pretty interesting looking trailer. We get a good look at both of the twins and take on the perspective of Elodie in first person. This one is cool honestly, just for the fact that we get that alternate perspective. It's kinda interesting, and sets it up in a typical horror fashion as she peers from behind the tree. Victor jumps down, then runs at her screaming, with a small jump scare moment as she finally fully looks around the tree. Pretty interesting and nice animation. Chapter 21, Hellraiser. Hellraiser has quite a simple trailer, but I think a nice and fitting one for the somewhat nonchalant outlook of Pinhead. This trailer has a lot of atmosphere to it, as Dwight tumbles down the basement stairs, picking up the lament configuration. We get another first person shot, which is pretty cool too. Pinhead then walks towards him and chains him up as he screams. Very nice looking and great animation honestly, while still being quite simplistic. Next, let's look at the great trailers. So first up we have Chapter 7, Saw. First off we see the Gideon meat plant. Through varying regular and camera shots, it then sets itself up to put you in the place of one of Jigsaw's games, as we hear the tick of a reverse bear trap, and then we see a worried Dwight, who's currently trapped in it. Amanda stands beside him, calmly looking on. We hear it snap back, and then Jigsaw's laugh echo out. Very spooky trailer, and one which really hits all those typical Saw points really well I think in such a short time. Poor Dwight. Chapter 20, Resident Evil, is one of the longer animated trailers, where we get multiple consecutive scenes. We begin with some of Raccoon City, and then onto Meg running through the streets, before a tentacle bursts out of a wall, picking her up, violently tossing her against a police car. It's pretty brutal. Then Leon and Jill come out from behind the car. Jill shoots at a threat we can't see yet, until it comes into frame, the hulking tyrant Nemesis. The bullets doing absolutely nothing. They then run inside the LPD to meet Chris and Claire. Despite the amount that's in this one, I don't think it's particularly impressive, aside the initial reveal of Nemesis bursting through the wall. There's not as much atmosphere in this one I feel, although seeing these longer scenes of the characters is really cool still, and definitely bumps it up here. Chapter 15, Chains of Hate, was an interesting trailer that really lent into the setting of the chapter, but also the key features of the Deathslinger. We begin with the sound of the chain hitting someone, then the sweeping shots of Glenvale. We see the bloody mark in the ground where someone has been dragged, followed by the chain, then the spear gun and the Deathslinger. He stares at us, then clicks his jaw into place. This is a really cool setup for the brutal slinger, focusing on all these rough and harsh elements to him and his ability, and the whole atmosphere of this trailer is honestly perfect. Chapter 16, Silent Hill, was probably the second most exciting at its time of release, after only Stranger Things. The atmosphere and general vibe felt so spot on, and the visuals of this trailer are some of the best since possibly the Halloween Chapters trailer. We open inside a classroom, we see Cheryl peeking into the hallway. The hallway is empty, and a siren punches through the air. The lights shut off, and an ominous red glow appears. The walls begin to burn up, and then we see the executioner's blade tearing through the floor, and then past Cheryl's door, and finally into the shot. A very simple trailer when you think about it, but a really cool introduction to the chapter and Pyramid Head. Again, the atmosphere in this one is really amazing. Moving on, we have the original Chapter 8, Curse smart and cool. This chapter has a very detailed trailer that primarily focuses on the clown's caravan and then Kate out in the woods. We see bottles, we see the rotten and rusted exterior, we see the butterfly knife, and finally the set of fingers that he picks up. As he sputters and coughs, we hear Kate's guitar. I like how this trailer flips between the two quite seamlessly, connecting and representing them both with just these two very short and simple scenes. Clown in his gross caravan and Kate by the fire in the woods playing her guitar. They both really set up their characters in very simple ways, and for that I think this trailer is really great. Moving on, we have chapter 10, Darkness Among Us. This chapter has a really great trailer and definitely sets the tone for the killer who's supposed to be one of the most human in appearance, having them run alongside David as they try to take cover, seemingly panicked also. I bet when this was first revealed, some people may have thought that the person running next to David would have been the new survivor. Although the Legion's power didn't turn out to be quite as cool as this, it's still a cool moment in the trailer. And the trailer as a whole, with the Legion revealing who they really are, is really well done I think, and was definitely a bit of a curveball as it were. Chapter 14, Cursed Legacy, has a very distinct trailer and has a great lead up to the Oni's reveal. We begin with Yui racing through a neon lit city, weaving between other people on her motorbike. Then we see this really cool shot through the reflection of her goggles, as it goes from neon to just pitch black. We cut back from her goggles to find her on an abandoned road in the woods. She screeches to a stop in the fog and turns around, as some pounding feet stomp toward her. We get the reveal of the armor, then the stature, and then the glowing and burning eyes. Really cool, really mysterious, and a great display of the modern and ancient characters. Also, truly stunning visuals on this one, and a really nice contrast between them. Chapter 17, Descend Beyond, was a very nice introduction to the Blight, and was very focused on the transformation aspect of him, and how the Blight itself takes effect in contorting and changing the body. Again, a super atmospheric trailer. We have Talbot stumble into the chapel groaning, injecting the serum as he cries in pain. It's honestly quite disturbing, but very effective. The transformation is seen only through shadows, which is a cool way to do it, seeing his limbs elongate and fingers curl into claws, with the final result of the Blight being revealed. I think this trailer is really well done. Finally, let's look at the amazing trailers. The Chapter 12 Ghostface trailer is one of the most unique trailers. Tonally, this trailer is very distinct. Equally though, this tone is perfect for Ghostface. We're in what looks to be a hardware or DIY store, following around a shopper, who approaches the person at the till. They scan through all the items until it gets to a bloody package where a knife should be. We then see Ghosty with the bloody knife. He walks out with the trolley and tosses money behind himself. This whole reveal is great, and again really gets you engaged with the character and their personality, despite no words being spoken. That's what a lot of these trailers do really well, is just visually and audibly get across the characters. This one definitely does that though in a unique way, due to Ghosty's equally unique character. Okay, let's talk about Chapter 19, All Kill. All Kill was and always will be one of the more unique chapters in the game, and with it came an equally unique trailer. This trailer is amazing in so many aspects and really gets across what behavior we're going for when it came to the whole aesthetic of this chapter. This trailer also features completely original music that in universe is meant to be a creation of the trickster himself, shown through different things like the inclusion of his victim's screams within the music, making it incredibly chilling but also so much more personal to the character. The visuals are also these great animations, which are quite unique in style in terms of DBD, which generally has a much grittier look to it. This makes everything out as far cleaner and polished to reflect the more glamorous celebrity killer of the chapter, the trickster, whose image is still somewhat tainted by the unnerving spatters of blood all over him. The base game trailer, or technically the Trapper trailer, is pretty amazing, and probably the longest and most cinematic trailer we've had. This trailer features the characters no longer in the game, or the alpha characters, or potentially it was even pre-alpha characters. I like this trailer quite a bit though, because it's one of the animated trailers that most closely resembles gameplay without being literal gameplay. We have these calm and creepy establishing shots, then move into a character running through the environment. What from, we're not yet sure. A scream is heard and a character is seen, stuck in a bear trap. It's a horrible sight, but it's still not clear who the chaser is. They keep running, walk down into the basement, just as we see our first view of the pursuer. Footsteps continue and they hide downstairs, seeing a body on a hook and entering a locker. Our view of the killer is distorted still from the inside of the locker, until it bursts open and a clear view is shown. Awesome trailer, and what a great way to reveal the game, to be honest. Trapper is made pretty scary in this trailer, and they do a great job at rising the tension whilst not losing the pace. Really great trailer, and and really worth the rewatch honestly, or just the watch if you haven't seen it before. To finish this list off, we have Chapter 2 Halloween. The Halloween chapter as a whole is a standout one, and it had an amazing trailer to accompany it. We begin with Laurie running inside, Myers standing out on the street. She opens the curtains and sees him out there, before disappearing, with some title cards popping up. Myers climbs the stairs, and both himself and Laurie lean against the same doorway as he raises his knife. We then zoom out as the police lights flicker onto the building's exterior. This trailer is really amazing honestly, for the very early days of Dead by Daylight, featuring quite impressive animation. It looks almost like live action for the shots of Michael Myers out on the streets. It's incredibly tonally fitting, and we get almost a recreation of a scene from the film. The music I believe is also the Halloween score, and it sounds amazing. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and be sure to drop your own favourite trailer or thoughts down below. Thanks, and goodbye.